Hello, everyone, and welcome back. Today we're looking at the Corellian Lancet Interceptor. These are small Corellian built starfighters. And we, as usual, start off here on Wikipedia. So these are sleek, agile, and compact uh, craft that the Corellian Engineering Corporation manufactured. They were composed of a wingless, dart shaped fuselage that flowed into a single prominent maneuvering fin. Its wingless design, combined with its long, sleek finned fuselage and powerful Tier 22 ion engines, allowed the craft to perform with impressive speed and maneuverability. Despite its thin appearance, however, the Lancet was nonetheless capable of seating two occupants back to back under the transparent steel canopy. Though only a single pilot served as crew, with the second seat reserved for a passenger, it was equipped with long distance communications equipment and a hyperdrive, shields, and a pair of medium laser cannons. History of this: the primary ship for the Judicial Department of the Galactic Republic, the ship symbolized judiciary authority and were known to strike fear into criminals by just being in the immediate vicinity. Several of these ships were used at the time of the Battle of Naboo. After the rise of the Galactic Empire, the fighters continued to be used by Corsac and Corellian defense forces. So we do get to see this in Cloak of Deception. And let's see, we also have sources, Sons of Fortune. Let's see, and that's all we have here for the ship on Wikipedia. So we look at this in the D6 Star Wars universe. The Corellian. Now, there is a slight difference here in the terminology. So Wikipedia has this labeled as a CL1, where in the book here it actually labels it as a Corellian Engineering Corps LX 980 Lancet. So it's really the same fighter, but it is slightly named different for some reason. I don't know why there's that difference, but I just do want to point that out. So this is probably where it comes in. Originally, I believe that this was done for the New Republic, but then unfortunately later on it got kind of pushed back into being in the Old Republic. Uh, so there is a little bit of the difference here. Now, that doesn't mean that this couldn't be the um, essentially newer model for that, but this is the only one that we have listed in the book as compared to the other one, which is a older model. But looking at everything, it is roughly the same ship. So it just might be that it, in the process of doing everything, it had been um, recommissioned to be made again, and then of course then it just gets a rename. So here we are. This is considered New Republic alignment for the New Republic era. It's still a judicial enforcement craft. It is 14.1 meters long, has a crew of one with one passenger. So much like it's stated, the passenger is just a passenger. There's no weapons officer or anything else. It's just straight up a passenger. So we do have cargo capacity of 60 kilograms, and we have enough consumables on board for roughly a week in case you need to. It's not typically available for sale because it is meant for government uses. Has a times 2 hyperdrive multiplier. Of course, with a hyperdrive, we want to have some sort of nav computer. It's having its own nav computer instead of relying on a droid. We do have a maneuverability of 2D and a space of 9. Now, what we don't see here listed is a atmospheric flight capability, and that might be due to its design having no actual lift, and I don't know if it's really got much of the repulsor lift. Now, that doesn't mean that in our Star Wars universe it couldn't go into an atmosphere. Quite often with ships like this, we'll see it, but it's not really intended to get into a firefight. So its capabilities are so limited that essentially it just kind of wanders down and lands. So we'll take it in that regard. If it was, I would say it's probably going to be 1,050 kilometers an hour, roughly ish. So just taking a stab in the dark for how fast this probably goes. It's going to be like 1,050 or 1,150 kilometers an hour if it was an atmospheric flight capability. We do have a hull of 2D plus 2 and a shield's of 2D. So the shields, you know, it's not the most resilient fighter. It is more resilient than the base TIE fighter, which is at a 2D, and that's where, remember in our or in our Star Wars campaign, 2D is our standard, whether it's for humans, vehicles, whatever else. 2D is pretty much like the standard where you're hoping everything is going to be to start with, and then you're going to go up. So if it's below that, it's a little less than what our standard is. Um, so it's just going to be like our standard, a little extra. Our hull is going to have a little extra Durasteel in there, and our shields are going to be about our standard where we would like them to be. So, in that regards, our sensor packet here, we have a passive scan that can go out to 2 kilometers at a 0D bonus. We can do an active scan out to 4.5 kilometers at a 1D plus 1 bonus. A search out to 8.5 kilometers at a 2D plus 2 bonus, and a focus out to 400 meters being at a 4D bonus. So for a small craft, I mean, 14 meters, it's not small, but the fact that it's not a research ship or anything else, it's not that bad for our sensor packet in all regards for a fighter craft or such. And as stated before, we do have 2 laser cannons on board. They are front facing, has a fire control of 1D, and does 4D damage. So these are not the most powerful uh, laser cannons out there. This is going to be on par with what we would have seen on our original TIE fighters, having 2 laser cannons in comparison to the upgraded laser cannons that we would have seen later on in the TIE IN series or so on and so forth, because then we're up to about 5D. So, uh, you know, ships like this are good, especially in numbers. The fact that it also has shields gives it a little extra survivability. But all in all, this is probably going to be another one of those ships that, um, very much like the Imperial Doctrine with the TIE fighters, it's not one that you want to just have out as a single. They're definitely going to want to run in pairs, if not in groups of 4 or more. Um, That way, you can guarantee a little bit better survivability for the craft. So, with that, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for visiting. It's always wonderful having you to stop by. I hope you're having a wonderful day. We'll see you in the next video.